Hello and welcome to Do Space After School Coded. My name is Kafaya and I will be facilitating today's session. And of course, I'm very excited to have you guys with me here today. And I hope that at the end of today, we learn something exciting. Okay. Just like we did last week, we're going to be continuing to venture into the world of Kano coding. And the awesome thing about Kano Code is they do a great job. The people at Kano Code do a great job of helping us break down different programming concepts into like challenges and different steps so that it's easy to learn them. And just like we did last week, we would pick one programming concept and try to get as much knowledge about that concept as we can, just so as much as we're learning and as much as we're having fun, we're going to, of course, be learning something as we go along. Okay, so the plan for today's session is, first of all, in the spirit of Halloween. I know Halloween was last week, but I mean, we're here now, so why not? So we're going to carve our own pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns or candle lanterns as they call it on Candle Code. And after that, we're going to go ahead and learn about variables. And there's an awesome introductory video that we're going to get to watch that kind of gives us an overview of how variables work. And the awesome thing about that video is there's someone actually practicing what they're telling us about on Kano Code, which makes it super awesome. And after that, we're going to go ahead and practice using variables by completing the challenges that they have on Kano Code. So, and also depending on how much time we have at the end of the challenges, we might go back and watch one or two more videos and complete one more or as many more Halloween themed activities that we can. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and get to our candle lanterns. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and go find my challenge. And right here, this is how we're going to, this is where we're going to carve our candle lanterns. So if you have an account, feel free to log in so that you can work along with me and let's have fun with this, okay? Awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the purpose of this challenge is to decorate a candle lantern for Halloween. We're doing this for Halloween. That was in the past, but I'm sure we'll have as much fun as this challenge is intended to help us. So give your canvas some color by opening the draw tray. So this is me in the draw tray. I'm going to select and connect my block. So when the app starts, I want my background color to be purple. Let's just go with purple. Okay, now make the pumpkin stalk. And we know that is going to be green, so I'm going to go ahead and use the fill color and change that to green. Okay, our next step is to draw. We're going to be doing a lot of drawing for this challenge, so just bear with me. So we're going to draw and move the X position to 380. And our Y position, we're moving that to 100. And next we're going into our draw tray. Let me fix that real quick. Okay. So our next challenge, our next step is to go back into our draw tray and draw a rectangle. Remember, we're trying to draw our stalk and we're going to give it a width of 50 and a height of 100 just so that it's a significant enough size for us to be proud of, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back into my draw tray and I'm going to go pick a fill color for my pumpkin and let's make that orange, of course. And I'm going back into my draw tray and selecting. I'm going to change my X position to 250, and my Y position is going to be 350. Okay, so now I'm going back into my draw tray. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of drawing. Okay, and now I'm changing my width to 120 and my height to 180. That looks so funny, just tiny right there. Okay, and now this is just one part of the pumpkin. As you know, the pumpkin has, like, if you're looking at it from the front, it almost looks like it has three big ovals. So that's what we're going to execute. So now I'm going back to my draw tray. I'm selecting the draw block and I'm attaching it or connecting it to my other block. And now I'm going to move right by 100 and so I'm changing my X to 150. Sorry, I got a bit confused there. And I'm changing my Y to 0. Awesome. So we're going to draw another eclipse, like I said. Now we're drawing with a width of 180 and a height of 200. Ooh, okay. This looks like it's coming together. So I'm going back into my draw tray and I'm going to click, drag, and connect it. And also change this to 150 and change my Y to 0 again. And now we're going to add one more eclipse, or oval or circle. And I'm going following the same steps. I'm changing my X to my width, I apologize, to 120, and my height is going to be 180. And now we're going to add the touch part using the add parts button. So right here I'll click and select on touch. And after that, I will click on my touch, click, drag, and place it. Remember, it is not connecting to the other blocks. It's a bunch of blocks on its own. And now I'm going to choose a fill color of, let's make it not too dark, but not as dark as black. Awesome. So now I'm going back to my draw tray and I'm going to move my X position to my touch, and same thing for my Y. So that way, anytime that I touch, okay, I'm drawing a circle with a radius of 10. Awesome. So now you must be wondering, where is the face of my jack-o'-lantern? Like, where do I go and give it eyes and ears? So this is how we make that happen. I'm going to give my jack-o'-lantern a pair of eyes. Isn't this like much easier than trying to carve a real pumpkin, right? And now let's try to give it a big smile. Right here, I'm just going to go ahead and give my jack-o'-lantern a big crooked smile, just cause. Right here, as you can see, this is it. The awesome thing about this is that, unlike carving an actual pumpkin, you get to change, and if you make mistakes that maybe you're not happy with, you can always refresh it and start over, right? This is so cool. I'll give anyone that's working with me a couple of minutes to catch up so we can go ahead with the rest of the lesson. But this was super cool, right? Let's blank out the eyes. Awesome. If you guys think you can make your jack-o'-lanterns or your candle lanterns cooler than mine, send me a screenshot or a picture of this to my email. You can email me at hello@DoSpace. Just let me know, hey, this is what I had, and I think it looks better than the one that you had. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to learning about variables. I think we've had enough fun, right? Now let's add some knowledge to the middle of the fun that we're having. And to do that, we're going to go into Kano Code world to learn about variables. There's a couple of videos about how variables work, but I figured since we're working with Kano Code, it'll help us a lot if we learned about variables in the same environment that we're going to be working or doing challenges, right? Okay, so I'm going to go right in here, and there's a super fun video that we can watch, and I'm just going to go ahead and play the video, and please make sure to pay attention and note anything that sounds interesting to you, and let me know what you think about it at the end of the video. Oh, give me a second. My sound is off.
Hey there. So today we're going to be learning about variables. But before we get into what a variable is, let's just set up a nice creation where we're going to use a variable later. Let's get started by making this background a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to open up the draw tray, get a background color block, drag that in and change it to purple. Awesome. Let's add some things onto our canvas. I'm thinking maybe some animals. So let's open up the draw tray and grab a move to block to pick where we're going to draw them. So I'm going to change the X position to 200. So that's a little bit across. And I'm going to set the Y position to halfway down the canvas, so that's 300. And then I'm going to go back to the draw tray and grab a stamp. There we go. I'm going to change our crocodile to a mouse. Great. Let's make it 2 mice, actually. So going to open up the draw tray and get a move by block this time. And move it across by 300 pixels. And keep it at the same height. And let's draw another stamp. Go. And change that to a mouse. Awesome. Okay. Let's change the size of our mice so they're a little bit smaller. So if I go and change the size of the first mouse to 50, and I could change the other one to 50, or I could change them so they're bigger, maybe they're 200 now. They're really big mice. So say I always want them to be the same size as each other. I could keep doing what I've been doing so far and just going back and forth and changing them both, and then deciding to do something else and changing them again. Or I could find a way to set the size of both of them in one place and have them both change. That would be pretty great, right? Well, we're in luck. There is a wonderful thing called a variable, which we can use to do just that. So, what is a variable? A variable is a lot like a box in the computer's memory that you can store something in to look at later. You can put different things inside of your variable or your box, and they can be things like words or sentences or numbers or even colours. Variables are used in loads of different programs. Say games, for example. The name of the player will be stored in a variable. The score is going to be stored in a variable, and things like the position of your character or the enemies on the screen, those are all going to be stored in different variables. So let's use a variable in our code. So if we go to the variables tray, open it up, and inside of there, we can set a variable. So if we click on that and drag it out, we want to put that at the top of the code. So let's say this box is our variable. We need to give it a name so that we can keep track of it. So if I want to remember what's inside of it, I should probably give it a useful name so that it explains what's in there, so that I don't have to open it up and figure out what's inside of it. I should just be able to look at the name and know exactly what it is. So we're going to be using our variable to set the size of our mice. So let's give this the name size. There we go. And let's do the same with our code. So I'm just going to click on the item drop down, and then I'm going to click create variable. Now it'll show this little pop-up, and that lets you set a new variable name. So I'm going to type in size and press confirm. So we need to put something inside of our box. We need to set our variable to something. So it's going to be a number, right? So say I want both of my mice to be 150 size. So let's put 150. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my box called size and pop it in there for me to use later. And that's great, so our computer has remembered it and it's just putting it away to look at later. And let's do the same for the code. So if we open up the variables tray again, there's also a number block in there. So let's drag that out and connect it to the size. So we want it to be 150, like it is in my box. 150. So now we have a box that we've made with our code, a variable called size, that has 150 stored inside of it. Now we can go ahead and use our variable. So let's open up the variables tray and drag out this block at the end and connect it to our size. You need to use the drop down to select the variable that we've just made, size, and there we go. So what happens here is that the stamp gets drawn, and then when it gets to the size, it sees the variable and it goes, okay, I've got a box called size. I should open it up, have a look inside. Oh, it says that's 150. And then it uses that number to set the size. So if we get another variable block from our tray and connect it to our other mouse and set that to size, they'll both be exactly the same size. And the great thing about variables is that you can change them. So say I want to change the size of both of them. Now all I have to do is change the number up here, or the number that's in my box, to 50, and put that in instead. And they're both 50. It's pretty great. So I'm going to change it back, I think, to 150 again. And I think what would be more fun is if the second mouse was actually a cat. And maybe he was catching the mouse. And I think the thing is, though, is that the cat is bigger than the mouse, right? So they shouldn't be the same size, but I do want them to be to scale with each other. So I can still use the variable, but maybe if it was the variable times 2, because a cat's probably about twice as big as the mouse. So we can go into the math tray and grab this block here. Now, if we put this variable into here and then times it by 2 and pop that back into the size, he's now always twice the size of the mouse. Let's change our size variable to something else again. I'm going to go and change that to 50 so the mouse is small again. So as you can see, the cat is now twice the size of the mouse. And that will be the same for however big I set them. If it's 100 or 200. I do like that it looks like the cat has definitely caught the mouse. I think we should just... There you go. Perfect. And there you have it. That's how you use a variable.
That was awesome. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching that video as much as I did. Just a few things to note about the video was that variables serve as a box or like a container in a computer's memory that we get to store things in so that we can refer back to them and look at them later. And also it helps the variables should always have a name, and the name that you give your variable should help you easily identify what is inside the box, the variable, or the container. Like, because you give, like she did in the game that she just built, or the activity that she just did, she named her variable size, and that was because it helped us scale the size of the mice and the size of the cat. Also, the great thing about variables, one last thing that she mentioned was that you can always change them. So setting your variable doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. If maybe you decide, well, maybe I want to change this, I want to make it bigger or make it smaller, or just any changes that you want to. The good thing about variables is that they can change. Yeah? Okay, so enough of me talking. Let's go on to completing the challenge. We're gonna try to do 3 of the challenges. So how much food, optical illusion, and name the animal. We're gonna try to do as many of them as we can, considering the time that we have. So let's get started. Of course, let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay? Awesome. So in this creation, you're going to fill the canvas with food and use a variable to keep count. Awesome. Let's get started by creating our first variable. Remember, a variable is like a box with a name where you can store something that we're going to use later in our code. Open the variables tray. So here I am opening the variables tray, and I'm going to select the set item block, click, drag, and connect it. So when my app starts, I want to set my item. This variable is going to be used to count as many stickers as are on the canvas, so you're going to name it number of stickers. So now I'm going to tap on that and name it number of stickers. So I need to set my number of stickers to start at 0. So I'm going to go into my variables tray and I'm going to grab my number block, which is 0. And I'm going to go ahead and connect that to set my number of stickers to 0. We'll make use of the variable that's a bit later. Now you're going to add some text so the number of stickers is shown on the canvas. To add text, we need a text part. Click or tap on the Add Parts button. It is underneath the canvas. So I'm going to click right here and select my text. Take a peek at the canvas. You've added some text. Adding a part also adds a tray for it on the left. As you can see right here, open the tray, open up your text tray. As you can see, this is text reflected on my canvas. And right here, I have it in my tray. So I'm going to select my text tray. Awesome. So I'm going to select my text tray and then set size to scale. I'm going to go ahead and connect it. And now I'm going to set my size to 500, 500. Awesome. So the next thing to do is to create a loop to draw some foodie stamps on the canvas. And I'm sure the loop sounds very familiar to you guys because in our last lesson, we worked with loops. So can you see how awesome it is to learn the different programming terms and concepts as we go along? Because it helps us make full sense of what we're doing as we go deeper into the challenges. So now I'm going into my control tray and I'm selecting, clicking, dragging, and connecting. And now I'm going to change seconds to milliseconds. So now it tells me to set the position of my stickers to draw in a random place every 1 millisecond. So I'm going into my draw tray and I'm going to select, drag, and place. So now I want it to move to a random point. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go into my draw tray and select a stamp. And because this is a food challenge, I'm going to go back. As you can see, wow, so many crocodiles. We're going to change them to random food stickers instead. So I'm going to go into my draw tray, see, select random for all, and then now I'm going to select random for food. Wow, this is making me so hungry because it's different types of food popping up on my screen. And now I'm going to set my size. I'm going to scale it down a little bit from 100 to 50. So now I'm going back into my math tray and I'm going to click right here, drag and place. And so I'm changing my item to what we had at the top to number of stickers. And now I'm going back into my text tray and I want to add a text value. So I'm going to go back to my variables tray and select my item. And of course I'm changing that to number of stickers. And now, as you can see, oopsie, let me make that bigger so everyone can see. Can you see the variable count? It keeps the number of my variables container is changing. So every time my loop is repetitive, and that means that the number of food that I have is going up. This is so cool. Let's see if we start it over and look at how fast it gets to like 1,000. This is very cool. I wonder if anyone could eat so much food. It's crazy. Awesome. So I think that was fun. We're gonna go ahead and say bye. And now we're going to go on to our next challenge, which is optical illusion. Let's see how, I'm very curious to see how we're going to apply variables to this particular challenge. So it says, make a funky optical illusion with a variable. Okay. Start by setting your variable. Open up the variable tray. So this is me opening up my variable tray. And of course, like we did in the last challenge, I'm going to set my variable, but this time we're calling it circle size. And now I'm going back to my variable tray and I'm setting my circle size to 0. Now I'm changing from 0 to 10. And now I'm going into my draw tray and I'm going to set my background color to blue. Let's see, what shade of blue should we go with? Blue, okay. Now I'm going back to my control tray and I'm going to ask it to repeat 30 times. So that's adding a loop, right? Because it's a loop that tells your code how many times to execute. So now I'm going into my draw tray and I'm drawing no fill. Back into my draw tray, I'm going to tell it to draw a stroke color with the thickness of, okay, so that looks more like orange than red, but we'll go with it. And now I'm going to change my thickness to 10. Okay? I hope you guys are following along with me and working with me as well, if you can. Next, we're going into our draw tray to draw our circle with a radius of 5. And now I'm going into my variables tray, and I'm going to select item and of course change it to circle size. And now I'm going back to my math tray, selecting the item block and changing that to circle size. And now this is going to be 20. Awesome. That was a really quick challenge. And as you can see, this is what we have. Let's see if I can count the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And I'm guessing there's more circles outside of this border that we can see, because remember we told it that we wanted 30 circles. So we asked our loop to repeat this action 30 times. This is very cool. Can you see the amazing things that you can do with variables and loops? Imagine if we had to repeat the same block. Imagine if we had to repeat this same block, but we had to write it 30 times because we didn't have a, a loop. And thank God for variables, we're able to set a size and have it go up from there. It makes our work so neat and so patterned, and this is very interesting. Cool. So, and we have just about enough time to get on to our next challenge. So let's see. We're going to do the name the animal challenge. So right here, it says variables aren't just for storing numbers. In this challenge, you'll use a variable to store the name of a sticker. And if you remember from the video that we watched at the beginning of the session, she talked about how you can use variables to store many different kinds of things. So let's proceed. So we're starting with adding a loop to our code. Don't you feel so cool that we learned about loops last week and here we are using loops in every challenge? It must feel nice to to know what we're working with. Okay, so every 1 second or every 2 seconds, we want to give your canvas some color. Open the draw tray. So we want to set our background color to a random color. Awesome. And now we're going to add the sticker parts. This is already so cool because as you can see, the color of our background changes. This almost looks like a party. It's like disco, but different colors at once. I don't know if anyone gets what I'm saying. Okay, I'll stop now. Let's go on with the challenge. So time to make your variable. We're going to open the variable tray and we're going to set our item or set our animal to random animals. So I expect to see a different animal every time. And okay. So every 2 seconds, the animal variable stores a random animal sticker which you can use to set the sticker image. This is very cool. So not only does the color change, the animal also changes. Very nice. You can use this for a fun guessing game where you make everyone, like whoever has the fastest brain, name every animal that pops up on the screen. So let's see. You can use your animal variable to show the name of the animal underneath the sticker. So we're going to do the same thing we did in the last challenge, and we're adding the text part. So now I'm going to move my text so it's not invading my animal. I'm going to move this to 400, and my Y position is going to be 500 pixels. Okay, so we're going to change what the text says by opening our text tray. So here we go. Text value equals animal. Okay, nice. So this isn't a guessing game anymore because thanks to variables, we're able to name every animal as they show up on the screen. Very cool. So one last thing, we're going to open the text to speech tray. Okay. And text to speech. We're going to go back to our variables tray and select this and change it to animal. And now,
bunny,
give me a second.
cow, crab, bunny,
Okay.
squirrel,
See if I can hear it.
cat, octopus,
Nice.
snake, dog,
This is fun.
sheep,
Okay.
bunny,
Okay.
dolphin,
Nice.
bird, pig, bee, sheep, bird, snake,
chicken, goat, clownfish, poodle, blue whale, squirrel, dog, unicorn, fish, monkey, fish, chicken, mouse, squirrel, fish, whale, squirrel, mouse, bee, goat, mouse, snake, crocodile, dog, octopus, spider, poodle, spider,
Okay, that's fun.
octopus,
But
poodle,
I think
octopus,
that's the end of
tiger, unicorn,
our challenges for
cat,
today. We're
crocodile,
going to go ahead and
shrimp,
okay,
crocodile,
so we have about 4 more minutes
bird,
left. I think
blowfish,
we can try to complete
pig,
one of
crab,
the other Halloween
duck,
challenges. I don't think
bunny,
we have enough time to watch another video,
squirrel,
but we're going to go
duck,
ahead and try to do
tortoise,
the next Halloween challenge.
monkey,
Does that sound good to you guys?
clownfish,
Just a good way to
chicken,
insert some more fun
unicorn,
after we just had fun learning,
crab,
of course. So
dog,
now we're going to
ladybug,
make a haunted house scene
snail,
with spooky music.
cow,
Ooh.
snake,
Okay. So
bunny,
set the color of the sky by
ladybug,
opening the draw tray. I'm going
octopus,
to set my background
bee,
color to what?
blue
Purple.
whale,
I think
snail,
purple is a popular color today.
crocodile, dog,
Okay. And now,
snail,
just like we learned
camel,
about variables, we're
dolphin,
going to set item
tiger, sheep,
to ghost X.
clownfish,
Awesome. And now I'm
cow,
back into my variables tray,
squirrel,
and I'm going to set
octopus,
ghost X
dog,
to 800.
bee,
Okay.
clownfish,
And now I'm going to go back into
fish,
my control tray and
camel,
give it a loop.
ladybug,
So every 1
ladybug,
millisecond, I want
spider,
it to draw.
octopus,
Oops. I
whale,
want it to draw.
spider, pig, tortoise, duck,
Okay.
blowfish, fish,
Now I'm going
tiger,
to change X to 400,
clownfish, bird,
400, and Y
tiger,
to 1100.
snake,
1100.
ladybug,
Back
goat,
to my draw tray, I'm going to select
shrimp,
fill color
poodle,
of light
shrimp,
purple.
pig,
Okay.
fish,
And back to my draw
Ladybug.
tray, I'm going to draw a circle
Whale.
with a radius of 700.
Blue whale.
Okay. This is all
Blowfish.
coming together.
Shrimp.
And now I'm going to go
Crab.
back to my draw tray and grab
Blue
this
whale.
block and set my X value
Ladybug.
to 200
Goat.
and my Y value
Ladybug.
to 100.
Bunny. Bunny.
Back to my draw tray, I'm
Crab.
going to use a stamp
Crab.
to select
Bee.
the
Horse body.
moon. And we're
Bunny.
going to make our moon bigger by maybe
Clownfish.
setting it to 300.
Sheep.
Wow. And now
Shrimp.
we're going to
Tiger.
go back here
Duck.
and set our X
Octopus.
position to 400.
Poodle.
And our Y
Mouse.
position is going to be 300.
Shrimp.
And now we're
Poodle.
back to drawing.
Sheep.
And we're back
Monkey.
to drawing. I'm going to do a
Chicken.
stamp and change it
Dolphin.
to a
Tiger.
house. Okay. And
Tortoise.
of course we need to make our house bigger,
Monkey.
so I'm going to go ahead and
Octopus.
change the size of my house
Chicken.
to 250.
Cat.
Ooh.
Blue
And now
whale.
I'm going into my
Goat.
math tray, and of
Centipede.
course I need my variables
Dolphin.
here. So ghost,
Bee. Centipede.
ghost X,
Blue whale.
and
Crab. Unicorn. Cat.
okay. So
Tiger.
now I need to go draw. I'm excited
Bee.
to see what we
Pig.
figure out at the end. As
Mouse.
you can tell, I haven't done this before.
Shrimp.
So I'm as excited as you guys.
Dolphin.
Ghost X.
Chicken. Camel.
So set the Y position
Snail.
of the ghost.
Snail. Tortoise.
Okay.
Pig.
Let's get
Fish.
400.
Duck.
And
Clownfish.
we're going to
Dolphin.
add parts.
Cow.
And now
Mouse. Tortoise. Duck.
okay.
Chicken. Monkey. Bee.
Where
Bird.
is our ghost?
Pig. Snail. Monkey.
Come on. We're running out of time.
Camel. Sheep.
Wow.
Cat. Elephant.
Okay. Let's do
Ladybug.
this
Goat. Centipede. Crocodile.
now.
Unicorn.
No, we don't want you
Sheep.
anymore. I apologize.
Duck.
Not that one. Okay. That's our old game. Do you guys see our ghost? Okay. Well, we've kind of run out of time, but this is what we have so far. Where's our ghost? Oh. Awesome. we find what we have. Oh. Wow, that's kind of spooky. Anyways, that's all that I have for you guys today. I guess I'll see you guys in our other session. And before I forget, anyways, bye. I'll see you guys in our next lesson. The ghost is taking over today's session. I don't know what's happening anymore. Okay, bye.